Well, it's official. Our national debt now just crossing the $15 trillion milestone for the first time ever. Yeah, we told you it'd happen. There it is right there. It took nearly 200 years for the United States to rack up $1 trillion, but the Fed quickly made up for lost time by tacking on another $14 trillion in just 40 years. And to make matters worse, the super committee charged with cutting deficits doesn't seem to have any answers. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Katie Pavlich is the editor of townhall.com in D.C. Tina Corby is an associate editor at hotair.com in Oklahoma City. And our very own Sandra Smith is in our newsroom. Katie, let's start with you. You know, $15 trillion, it's going to take a long time for our grandkids to pay that off, don't you think?
I think we should go with great-grandchildren, Jerry. This is pretty unbelievable. You know, you look at the past 40 years, you look at the past 3 years, you know, in this administration alone, we've seen $4 trillion added to the debt, which puts us on track for $21 trillion in debt by the year 2016, and that's another scary thought. So look at who we owe this money, China. And we're really getting to the point where China actually does own every sector of our economy, and we're going to be paying back this debt for years, decades to come.
Well, what are the other downsides here, Sandra? I mean, obviously, you know, it helps China, but what else do we need to think about with all this debt?
Well, hey, I think that's a great point, China, because we are in debt to many of these other nations out there, and if we continue on this pace, who are we? Are we still the strongest company in the world? And Jerry, I can actually loop the news on oil today, topping $100 a barrel. We're doing nothing about our energy policy in this country. We're still importing oil from Middle Eastern nations that don't even want to have anything to do with us and hate us. This situation's going to get a lot worse if we don't get a grips on this, and everybody's looking the other way.
Tina?
Well, the stalemate in the super committee, I think, just shows that the left was really never that serious about debt and deficit reduction in the first place. It's a convenient scapegoat to talk about raising taxes or raising revenues, but in the end, the administration right now is pursuing policies that's only making this far worse. We have a video going up on hotair.com in a little bit of Paul Ryan's reaction to this, and he's saying this really will be an infamous day because it's a marker, $15 trillion that hopefully will help people kind of wake up and realize that government spending is still the problem.
I have to respectfully disagree with Paul Ryan, who I really respect. Everybody seems to be asleep to this. You know, people are numbed by the numbers, and I don't know what it's going to take, but maybe it's the post office. The Postmaster General announcing a whopping $5.1 billion loss for this year alone. And guess what? They only have until Friday to pay another $5.5 billion in owed benefits, like that's going to happen. So he's asking Congress to take swift action, or they're going to default. Sandra, what do you say?
Total losses for the post office in 2010, $8.5 billion. And we're supposed to think that the good news here is that these losses of $5 billion were less than the $10 billion that were expected. I mean, there's going to come a point in time, Jerry, where we're going to have to let this stuff go, you know, privatize so that there's real competition out there. The post office hasn't been making money in years. This is a mess. I mean, FedEx and UPS, they've found a way to get these packages delivered quickly and on time at a decent price. Post office, is there really room for them?
Wow. Katie, what do you say?
I have to agree with Sandra. You know, the post office has been posting $8 billion losses for at least 3 years in a row now. But you look at the reasons why. Overpromising for benefits, right? And that's a problem not only with the post office, but with our state budgets and quite frankly, the federal budget, too. Overpromising entitlement programs, overpromising health care benefits, and overpromising retirement pensions as well. And I think it really comes down to you can't make these big promises because in the end, it comes back to hurt you even more than it does without having those benefits up front in the first place.
Well, you know, government needs to operate more like a business. Tina, what do you say? I mean, you can't just, you know, run up losses over and over again. Your feet have to be held to the fire. Right?
Right. Let them do what it takes to be profitable. If they have to lay off some employees, okay.
Yes.
They've got the issue with the employees union, too, that they can't do that. They're so hamstrung by all of these restrictions from government that they can't do what it takes, even though they still do provide a service and could provide a service if the government would let them do it in a profitable manner.
It's those union contracts that has everybody's hands tied. All right, let's talk about coffee for a minute. Next time you order your venti caramel macchiato, you may want to think twice. Starbucks stores in New York City are closing down their bathrooms to the public, saying their employees spend too much time waiting in line. Now, Tina, if you live in New York, if you spend any time here at all, the nice thing about Starbucks is you always know you can go to the bathroom in there if you're out shopping or seeing a movie or whatever it is you're doing. So this is very bad news.
Couple of thoughts here. I can't help but think maybe Occupy Wall Street would have something to do with this.
Yeah.
I did read that Starbucks is denying it and saying no, they're going to leave it open. But if Starbucks did decide they want to close their bathrooms to customers, I guess they would just take the hit because fewer people probably would come in and probably fewer people then would buy as well.
Sandra, what do you say?
Hey, you know, I mean, it's a private company. They're entitled to do whatever they want. Their goal is just to be profitable and make money. And they have to decide, are they in the business of providing us coffee drinks, or are they in the business of providing bathrooms? If it's becoming such a problem, their employees can't go take their quick pit
I
stop,
know.
maybe they
I
have
know.
to do...
There are entire books devoted to showing you where the public bathrooms are in New York City. Seriously. So if you're, you know, if you're coming to visit or you live here, you know where to
There's
go.
an iPhone app.
There's an iPhone app?
There's an iPhone app for that.
That's totally cool. All right, we've got a PETA story here. It's taking on America's favorite plumber in its quest for animal rights. PETA says Super Mario 3D Land is promoting animal cruelty with its virtual power-up raccoon-like costume. According to PETA, Tanuki may be just a suit in Mario games, but in real life, Tanuki are raccoon dogs skin alive for their fur. Mario is sending the message that it's okay to wear fur. Okay, Sandra, you got come on, baby. I can guess what you're going to say here.
I don't know. It's just exhausting trying to keep up with everything that is, you know, I don't know. This one, it leaves me pretty much speechless. I mean, you could pretty much come up with anything. You could make anything up if you wanted to like that. I don't get it.
Katie, what do you say?
Doesn't PETA stand for people eating tasty animals, Jerry?
No,
you know,
it does not.
I don't really have a problem with this. I think that PETA takes everything to the extreme. We saw this with Barbie when they they went and put that huge banner, which I'm sure took lots of resources on the side of the Mattel building, I believe, because they thought that Barbie was promoting. Maybe that was Greenpeace. These groups take these extreme measures to make a point, and it makes us take them less seriously. I would say I'm not going to be too worried about it.
Super Mario is not a real person. There's no real fur. It's an animated character. Okay, I feel better.
Yeah,
do you guys feel better?
it is.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, you know.
I know. Okay. Great having you guys here. It's the, you know, all blonde, all powerful panel. Katie, Tina, and Sandra, thank you.